Okay, so we will start with the problem here. We're done with the operating cycle and the cash conversion cycle. And then, again, kindly refer to the video lesson for the discussion about the theories on this lesson, especially ani niya. Okay, so kani atong iunahon og discuss. So this would be on the credit policy. So, as I have discussed in the video lesson, there are times when the management has to decide if it will change its current nga policy. Himuon ba niyang stricter or himuon ba na niyang mas relax or tagaan ba niya og taga na dili kaayo siya stricto sa iyahang mga credit policy in terms of number of days kung kano sa dapat mo bayad si customer or tagaan ba niya og mga discounts or iya habang i-allow ang credit sales instead of cash sales. So this could be changes in the credit policy. Why will the company change its policies? The purpose of that is in order to entice more customer, mo encourage og more customers to buy sa iyahang company or sa iyahang store or to speed up the collection para mopaspas ang collection. And of course we already know nga importante nga daghan na paspas atong collection or sayo ta makakolekta kay magamit na natog balik sa ato ang business. So I will discuss this first nga example nga problem for the credit policy. This is change in credit policy. Okay, so we have here na napay Disunod sa klase. Okay. So we have here the first question is, what is Belton's contribution margin? And what is a contribution margin? So in order to compute the contribution margin, so that is equivalent to your, so contribution margin is equivalent to, so that's equivalent to your sales. That's minus our variable cost. And when we say variable cost, it refers to both the cost of the product and the other expenses. Naman po tayo variable nga expenses. So sales minus variable cost, that is our contribution margin. So that is the question in letter A. Letter B is, what is the marginal profit from the increased sales? As we have already known, marginal means additional. Okay, so unsa may additional nga profit from the sales. And then we also have marginal investment. Kasi marginal investment, it means additional nga investment. Unsa man ang additional investment in accounts receivable. We have already solved this, 'di ba, in the operating cycle. 'Di ba pag mo lengthen ta or mo taas atong operating cycle, 'di ba naatay additional nga magasto in terms of our accounts receivable. So that's why we need to compute the marginal investment. So may additional investment nato. And then another question here is, what is the cost of the marginal bad debts? Pila man daw ang gasto sa additional nato nga bad debts. So, sa mga bad debts, katong mga di nato makolekta. And then using your answers in A and B to D, determine if sakto ba nga mag-relax sa credit standards. Okay? So what happened here? First we have Belton Company is considering relaxing its credit standards to boost its currently sagging sales. Sa iyahang proposal, pag iha ko nung i-relax ang iyahang credit policy, mo increase daw ang sales by 20%. So mo saka pila man yang original? Ang yang original is 10 million. So kung mo increase siya by 20%, that means 20% of 10 million is 2 million. So madugangan siya og 2 million. That is kung effective ang iyahang proposed nga relaxation of credit policy. Second is the average collection period would become 50 days. So what is average collection period? If you can still recall, di ba this is the number of days nga makolekta sa company ang mga receivables. So from 35, mahimong 50. So na ay plus 15 days, di ba? So madugangan siya half a month. That will happen if i-relax ang ilahang credit policy. Mao na siya bana-bana nila nga malangay, mas malangay pa siya by 50 days. And that would give enough time for the customers to pay. Diba? Mao na yung usa ka akon ani nga decisions. Mo na siya one disadvantage of this proposal. Mao man gini si ilahang primary gyud nga gi-relax ang ilahang collection period. Nga instead nga ang mga customer mobayad within 35 days, pwede sila mobayad up to 50 days. However, what would be the effect of this one? Although musa ka iyang sales, but the bad debts will increase from 2% to 7%. Diba? Madugangan og 5%. So the firm's variable cost is 60% of sales and the fixed cost is 2.5 million per year. Then we have the opportunity cost is 16%. So if you're listening in our economics nga class, di ba, what is variable cost? So this is dependent on the output. Pag daghan kag production, dako po dato ang total variable cost. Meanwhile, ang fixed cost is the same whether daghan tag ma-produce or gamay. And we already know also in our economics class that opportunity cost is opportunity forgone. So therefore, kung wala ta nag-business ani, wala ta nag-invest in our accounts receivable, we would have earned 16% income if we have invested our money in some other business or some other sources of income. And in this problem, we're going to use 365-day year. So meaning ang number of days nga itong gamiton sa computation is 365. So let's go to our requirements. So sa letter A, what is our contribution margin? So I have already presented to you the formula, diba? The sales minus variable cost is equivalent to our contribution margin. So therefore, our solution here is 1 minus 0.60 equals 0.40, or pwede ko na siya 100% minus 60% is equivalent to 40%. Okay, so nga na siya. What if our variable cost is 30%? So what would be our contribution margin? So our contribution margin would be 70. So 100 minus 30 is 70%. Okay? Any questions so far for letter A? Any questions are still there? Hello? Huy na pa ba mo dira? Ha? None? Okay. Okay, thank you. Tingog po mo kung sig nag-ano ra mo ha, nisod ra mo klase pero wala din mo diha. Okay, so let's proceed letter B. So letter B, what is the marginal profit from the increased sales? Pila man kuno ang madugang ginansya kung mo sa kang sales. Diba remember, pag i-relax daw nilang standards, from 10 million, madugangan og 20%. That's why we compute the percentage difference. So we have, this is the change in sales. So, di ba, ang change niya is from 10, madugangan og 20. That's why 10 million times 20%. And this is 2 million. And then, our contribution margin, we have already computed that here, di ba? 40%. So, 2 million times 40% is 800,000. So, based on the relaxation of their credit policy, ang mahimong benefit, di ba? Mao man ang benefit. Mahimong benefit niya is na ay madugang nga 800,000. Pero limpyo ba ng 800,000? Mauna ba gyud iyahang ma-receive? Let us take note nga naapoy mga consequence kung mo-increase ang iyahang sales. So what would be the consequence? First is from 35 days, 50 days ilang collection period. So ma-extend ilahang una, i-extend nila ilang credit period and then the effect would be mo increase ilang sales. So what will happen if mo taas ilahang credit period from 35 himuong 50? So we will now compute the cost of marginal investment. First is we need to get the marginal investment. Kanisa ang atong kwaon. Okay, so after we compute the marginal investment, then we can now compute the cost. So kanisa ang atong kwaon. So sa ato ang marginal investment, we have to compute the before and after. So, ang after nato katong proposal nato, so that would be 12 million times 60%. So this is after the relaxation. How do we get the 12 million? Diba that's the 10 million times 120%. Ano 120% mo siya? 100 plus the additional nga sales nga 20%. So that's 12 million. Next is 60. Why is it 60? Because the formula is variable cost, diba, over AR turnover. Okay, so what is our variable cost rate? So given man to siya diri, diba, sa problem. So diba, variable cost rate, tara, 60%. Then, over the RTO. And RTO nga formula, if you can still recall in our lesson in the financial ratios, it's the number of days in a year per year. And then, over the AR days. So, unsa man ang AR days, this is our average collection period. So, after the relaxation, pag i-relax na tong standards, di ba mahimong 50 days na lang, mahimong mo increase to 50 days ang ato ang average collection period. So, that's 365. Ang 365 ang gigamit, kaya mo may giingon sa problem. 365 divided by 50. So, compute 12 million times 60% over 365 divided by 50. So, what would be the answer? So, the answer would be 986,301. So, this would be now our accounts receivable after the relaxation. Next is, we have to compare that with the old ninyo nga um, old ninyo nga kanang policy. So the old policy states here that 35 days iyahang old policy. So therefore, the same gihapon nga formula, that's 10 million times 60% over 365 over 35. So computing that, you will get 575,342. Now, ang before ug after is not the same, di ba? Unsa may nahitabo after relaxation, ni-increase by 410, 955. And what does this mean? Pag mo increase atong investment, so that's additional nga pamuhunan. Or if we did not extended our credit period, this amount would have been invested in another na pod nga source of income, or na-invest na siya in another business, or na-invest pa ni siya in other forms of securities, or nagamit na unta ni siya for expansion of lain na pod nga venture. So this is our additional investment. And what will be the cost? So to compute the cost, we will use the 16%, diba? Given na ni siya, this is the opportunity cost. So therefore, what is the cost of the marginal investment? So the marginal investment is 410,959 times 16%. So the answer is 65,753. Okay, so this is our opportunity for forgone. Because we choose to relax our policy, we get to invest more in the amount of 410,959. So kung na-invest man ni sa lain nga business nga venture, we would have earned 65,753. Next is, what is the cost of marginal bad debts? Diba, ningon sa problem, from 2% it becomes 7%. So therefore, let's compute now. 12 million times 7%, that's 840,000. Then, before the relaxation, that's 10 million times 2%. Diba sa una, 2% ra ang bad debts. So get the difference, that's 640,000. So by relaxing the credit standards, nag-change mo sa credit policy, naatay budgets nga 640,000. Is budgets good? Good ba nga naabatay budgets? No. Budgets means you will not be able to collect that. Diba? Dili na to na siya makolekta. Budgets ganina. That's default. Ang mga customer na to wala mo bayad. even if you relax your standard and you increase your sales, naa siya'y consequence. Pwede nga na worth 640,000 nga dili nato makolekta. However, let's now get the total benefits, or not the total, the net benefit of this change in policy. Pila may iyahang net benefit katunog yung mahabilin. So remember, we already computed this in letter B. So this is 800,000. Then deduct the opportunity cost. So that's 65,753, and deduct the bad debts. Kay ano i-deduct man nato siya kay dili man nato makolekta, possibly dili nato makolekta. So the net profit or the net benefit of changing the policy is 94,247. So therefore, kay positive man ang answer, unya naapay mahamilin after magdeduct ta sa atong mga costs. So therefore, relaxing the credit policy would be beneficial to the company. How much man ang ato ang benefit? The benefit would be 94,247 nga increase in profits. Moingon mo, ma'am, gamaya naman na, dako kayo tong ilahang increase sa ilahang sales, 800,000, yung mauran na iyahang makuha, di lang ta magpa-relax sa tong policy. So, bisan pag-unsa siya kagamay, the fact na naagihapon tay salin, it means that the proposal would bring benefits to the company. Aside from that, let us take note that if we can adjust this one, kanibitang budgets, pwede pa ni siya mausab, dili man jud na pasabot nga mauna gyud na siya ang ato ang budgets. But if we make more nga strategies on how we can collect better, or how we can make our collections efficient and effective, we can minimize this bad debt. So dili pud nga 94,000 ra gyud ang ato ang makuha, bana-bana ra man ni siya. Pero kung atong tarungan lang ato ang operations, atong tarungan atong planning in terms of our credit and collection, we screen our customers properly and make proper correct sana maayo ato ang pag background check, maayo pud ato ang mga arrangements sa atong customer, we can minimize this one. And if we minimize our budgets, mo increase ang ato ang profit. Okay? So far, are there questions? Hello? Napaba mo diha? Nan? Sure? O sa lagi tigtubag? Kasama tong tigtubag. Okay, so let's proceed to this one. So, na-answer na ba ni siya? Murag na na-answeran na no? Anyway, so let's answer problem number 1. So, this is review. Review ni siya. Let's proceed with page 16 ni siya. So, first question is you calculate the operating cycle. So, if you can still recall what is operating cycle, that's equivalent to your inventory days. So, inventory days. And then, plus the AR days. Okay, so number of days in the inventory and the number of days collectible sa to ang receivable. So what is our inventory days? So how do we compute this one? So that's equivalent to average inventory times 360 days. If you can recall, di ba na ato ito look up pa maagi on how to get the inventory days. I'm using this one, but you can also use the other two formula. So plus average AR times 360 over net credit sales. Okay, remember, I'm using 360 because it's given in the problem nga 360 na siya. Okay, so let us now compute how do we get the average inventory. It's already given, so no need to compute. So 375 times 360 over 5,400,000. And then na times na plus average AR, it's already given. So 1.25 million times 360, then over 9 million. Okay? So what would be the answer? Kindly compute. How many days man atong inventory? What is our inventory conversion period? Pila man? Hello? Napaba mo diha? Kindly prepare your calculators because this is a problem solving activity. What is our inventory days? Are you still there? Sige, pag walay mo tubag, manawag ko ani. How about the others? Kindly istorya lang ninyo kay para kay wala ra ba ko nag-open sa ko ang wala ko nag-open sa Google Meet, ni siya, enlarge ning ako ang suwatanan. Let's get first inventory days. Inventory days una. Kani siya nga part. Kani talk sa microphone kay gi-close na ako ang Google Meet para mudako ni nga to ang suwatanan. Okay. 25, that's correct. Okay. Then how about our AR days? That's 50, correct. So the total number or the operating cycle is equivalent to 75. Okay. Next, we proceed with the second requirement. So letter B is CCC, cash conversion cycle. And our cash conversion cycle is equivalent to the operating cycle minus the payables deferral period or payable days ni siya, payable days. So, given naman siya, so no need to labad-labad na tong O, di ba? 75, given naman siya 30. So, that is how many days? 45. Okay. Next question. The amount of resources needed to support the cash conversion cycle. So, i-compute na naman nga problem. Pag niagi, pinaman ang resources. So, you can use the shortcut and you can also use the long cut nga version. So ang long cut daw. You get the investment in inventory and you get the investment in AR and you get the investment in accounts payable. Di ba naa naman ni nga problem katong gisolve na to on operating cycle and CCC. So this would be 14.4 million times ang katong number of days, 25 over 360. And then 14.4 million times 50 over 360. Di sama ka ng 25 o 50, ma'am. Di ka na siya diri, di ba? This is for the inventory and this is for the AR. And then AP is 14.4 million times 45 over 360. So how much is the investment in inventory? That's 14.4 million times 25 over 360. Pila man? Kindly prepare your calculators beside. Okay, 1 million. Correct. Okay, very good. That's correct. How about the investment in AR? 2 million. Correct. Next, invest. Okay, that's correct. How about accounts payable? 1 million. Accounts payable. Sa accounts payable na siya. Hmm. Sorry. Dili din ni siya 45, sorry. Ito wala ka nating ako sa answer. 30 na ni siya, 30 dala day. 30. Sorry. So 30 na siya kay kanima ni si payables deferral period. Dala. So 1,200,000. Okay. So therefore the total is 1,800,000. Okay, so that's equivalent to 25 plus 50 minus 30. Ang shortcut, o kung giingon nga shortcut, pwede na siya larguhon 14.4 million times pila ganitong ato ang cash conversion cycle 45. 45 over 360. So mo to ang magawas kay 1.8 million. Sa katong akong example, itong example nga giyan sila nato pag niagi is, di ba nag-multiply pataad to katong percentage sa cost of sales kay dili man siya parehas ani nga wala may percentage given. So therefore, ato na to siya i-multiply dayon sa 14.4 million. If you can still recall katong una natong giansiran nga problem nga naingon ani katong how much what will be the effect kung i-reduce ang number of days, di ba naman tayo computation adto kato siya ngani gihapon long form to siya pero dai gipang multiply di ba for the cost of sales nga portion nya na po'y percentage of the cost of sales mo to naa pa to siya gipang multiply. So since this is just a plain nga problem, so wala na kayo ikuti-kuti. Okay? So the answer for letter C is 1,800,000. So this is the amount of resources you need to support your cash conversion cycle. So that's why 45 atong gi-multiply kaya this is our cash conversion cycle. And then can you see, I think we already answered this one, right? Number 2. Di ba man answer ani last time? Kainumdum pa ba mo? Basta naman answer adto. Kainumdum gani ko adto ni ni Jinky nga nag-answer adto. Okay, number 3. Let's proceed with number 3. Okay, the question here is, that's by the way number, asa ni siya nga number sa inyong manual? Sa manual niyo, this is question number 14. Correct? This is number 14. Yung, nakita ba ninyo sa inyong manual? Okay, so it's number 14. So this is the optimal transaction size. So the formula for the optimal transaction size, so if nakabasa na mo, your OTS is equivalent to, katong na ay square root ni siya, square root of 2 times the conversion cost times the annual demand over the opportunity cost. So, mo na siya yung formula niya. So, i-substitute na to, square root of 2. And based on the problem, so sa may mention sa problem, so the management of X anticipates 19.2 million in cash outlays during the year, and it costs to convert marketable securities to cash and vice versa 20 pesos. Okay, and then the marketable securities portfolio currently earns 12% annual rate of return, and this is our opportunity cost, and this is our conversion cost. So substitute 2 times 20 times what is our annual demand. So that's 19.2 million. And then divided by the opportunity cost nga 12%. Okay? How much maning nasa sulod? 2 times 20, that's 40. 40 times 19.2 million divided by 0.12. I-compute sa daw. Kanisa kaning nasa sud. 2 times 20 times 19.2 million divided by 0.12. Pila man siya? Kung nagamit mo ordinary nga calculator kay mulapas na ng amount. Pero pwede mo magamit sa calculator sa inyong phone kay makaya naman niya. How much man? Or you can also get directly the final answer. Makompute ba ninyo ang final answer? Para dito na lang ta. So you get first katong sa sulod before you press the square root. But if you're using scientific calculator, I think unahon ninyo solve man unahon ninyo write ang or press ang square root before the item sa sulod. Pila may answer? 80,000. That's correct. Okay? So if your answers are not correct, so you check your calculator kanang unsaon siya pag-configure. Kung scientific na siya, magamit-gamit ka adtong mga I think mag-press pa ka adtong mga parenthesis ba or I don't ko kabalo unsaon na pag-compute sa ubang mga calculator. Basta kay ang answer kay 80,000. So you check in your calculator if you can arrive with 80,000. How about the others? Nakon- Okay. Layo. If you're using ordinary calculator, mahutdan mo sa zeros. So, ang inyong phone pod na amang pod siya calculator, makompyuter na siya. You use the katwitang na yung more scientific nga option sa inyong cellphone nga calcu nato siya. Okay? So, the answer here is 80,000. So, ang answer is 80,000. So the optimal or the best transaction size converting your marketable securities to cash or cash to marketable securities is 80,000 pesos. Okay, so this is in peso. So just apply the formula to get the answer. Okay, number 4. What is the firm's cash conversion cycle? So this is question number 15 in your manual. 15 is here. Okay. So how to compute? So first is, of course, you get the uh, inventory days and your average collection period. So OC. So you have inventory days or ICP, inventory conversion period plus ACP. So asa man ang gamiton nga amount ani? So average inventories is 116. And then times, so let's use 360. Pwede po kung 365 ang required, 365 po datong gamiton. Then, sorry, ay iswat sa natong formula kay para mag-guided. So this would be your average inventory times 360 over your cost of goods sold, then plus average AR times 360 over your credit sales. So substitute, average inventory is 116 times 360 divided by 650,000 plus you have 150,000 times 360 over 1 million. Okay, what is the answer? Kato na ang automatic nga final answer. Can you round off to 2 decimal points? Ang final answer. Okay, so the first one is 64.25. How about the average collection period? Fif- 54, correct. Very good. So the total is, okay, very good. So this is number of days. Next, what is the cash conversion cycle? So that's equivalent to the operating cycle minus the payables deferral period. And to get this one, that's average payables, accounts payable times 360 over the purchases, di ba? Credit purchases. However, since wala may given, ug di na to makompute ang purchases here. So unlike the previous problem katong akong gingon nga na-answer na nato number 3, di ba na-compute na to ang purchases adto. Since in the problem dili man given ang beginning ug ending nga purchases, so we will use instead of the purchases, we will use the cost of goods sold. Okay? So again, if the purchases cannot be solved or it's not given, we use the cost of goods sold. So let's compute first the payable deferral period. Pila man ang answer? That's 120 times 360 over cost of goods sold is 650. Okay? How much? Okay, very good. That's correct. So therefore, this is 118.25 minus 66.46. So our answer is, okay, very good. That's correct. Okay, so here are our final answers, 118.25 and 51.79. Okay? Any questions so far, Madara? Okay, none. So, okay ra, Madara og compute. Okay, so next is question number 16. So, ang question is optimal cash transaction size. Optimal transaction size. So, optimal cash replenishment level is the same with the OTS. Okay, so again, formula for OTS is 2 times conversion cost times annual demand over opportunity cost. So, substitute, what is our conversion cost? That's transaction cost of 75. So, that's our conversion cost times annual demand is 1.5 million over what is our opportunity cost? It's 3.7. So, 0.037, okay, equals. What would be the answer? Kato ng final answer is what? Okay, I will be waiting for your answers. So kindly mention lang the answer again because I'm not opening the Google Meet chat box. So kindly uh, speak out lang ang answer. So what is our OTS? Okay, come again. Ha- Okay, very good. That's correct. Okay, so did you get the correct answers, other students? Nakuha ba ninyo? Okay. So, kindly follow lang kung saan siya pag-compute sa inyong calculator. Again, you can use your cell phone na siya scientific nga na ay square root. Okay, so muna na ato ang answer. Okay, so far, okay ra ba? Si OTS o ganing mga cash conversion cycle o operating cycle? Okay ra? Madadara? Madara, madapa. Kay kani, o magsugod-sugod na taan ni sa mga ano, level up na nga mga question. Okay, so next is your ask, what is the investment in receivables? Remember, nga katong sa investment in receivable, di ba? Katong formula sa atong example, di ba? Investment in AR is equivalent to the variable cost over the RTO. Okay, where, how do you compute the RTO? The RTO is equivalent to the number of days in a year, depende sa requirements sa problem, over the AR days, or the, sa kaninang AR days is your average collection period. Okay? Other way pud ani niya, another pud nga way gihapon sa pag-compute. So it is also equivalent to average AR times the variable cost ratio. That's another way. Okay? Where your average AR, unsaon ni siya pag-compute, is equivalent to your credit sales times AR days. Again, what is our AR days? That's our ACP divided by 360. So nga na siya. Actually, parehas siguro na siya ani pero git pangbalhin-balhin lang components niya. Okay? So let's answer this problem. We get the investment in AR. Okay? So the investment in AR is equivalent to, so first is we get, so I will use this formula. Kaniya akong gamiton nga formula. Okay? So this would be equivalent to average AR. So our average AR is, kani siya, 912. Sorry. This is the annual sales day. So we get the average AR, and the average AR, so times the variable cost ratio. So, depende ni siya ha kung given ang iyahang variable cost nga ratio. Kung dili given na ang variable cost ratio, so therefore, kani siya may mahimong answer. So, how to get the average AR? So, that's equivalent to credit sales times the AR days. Again, your AR days is your ACP ha. So, divided by 360. Again, ganun, sorry, dili tayo 360. Sorry, 365 din yun siya. Ngayon 365 na siya kay mao may given sa problem. Okay? So, credit sales is 912,500. Then times, what is our AR days? How do we get the AR days? This would be the terms is 45 days. Mao gina usual nila, di ba? Unsa man ning net 45, this is the total number of days nga kinahanglan bayaran na ni customer iyahang utang. Pero mo lapas kuno siya, mo overdue man daw sila og 15 days. So pila naman tanan-tanan ang collection period? So 45 plus 15. So mahimo na siyang 60. Okay? Anong 60 siya? Kaya ang usual nilang credit terms 45, pero malapas man daw mga customer of 15 days, so mahimo siyang 60 over 365. So what would be the answer? What is our investment in AR? 150,000. Okay? Again, if the variable cost ratio is given, you will multiply this one with the VC ratio ha. But since wala man siya given on the variable cost ratio, so therefore, this would be our answer. Okay? Next, question number 18. Okay? Number 18. Again, this is 18. So, question 18, letter A. What is the RTO? Letter A, RTO. What is our RTO? That is the number of days in a year over the AR days. And what is our number of days in a year? Ingon man siya, 365. So, 365 over. Na may AR days diri? Asa may AR days diri sa problem? Given ba? Hello? Asa may AR days ani? Given ba siya or sulbon pa? 25, correct. Okay, so therefore, what is our answer? Answer is, okay, 14.60 or 14.6. Therefore, this is in terms of days, ha? So, meaning, the number of days niya, sorry, dili siya days. This is times. Okay, RTO man siya. This is number of times. So, 14.60 or 14.6 times. So, meaning, sa sud sa usa ka tuig, makakollect siya 14.6 times. Okay? Kung 25 days iyang collection period sa sud sa usa ka tuig, nga nay 365 days, ika 14 plus times siya maka-kolekta. Okay? Next, letter B. What is the average investment gihapon? Investment in AR. Para sa question ganiha. Okay, so again, this is the average AR times the variable cost ratio if this is given. Okay, so kung given si variable cost ratio. So what is our average AR? Again, to get the average AR, it's equivalent to your credit sales times AR days over the number of days, so 365. Okay, so therefore, this is equivalent to 600,000. Kaya mamaya itong credit sales times the AR days, which is given, 25 over 365. So pila man ni siya? 600 times 25 over 365. Correct. Okay. And remember, kani siya, di ba, mao ni average AR, i-multiply pa nato siya sa variable cost ratio. So, given ba ang variable cost ratio, ano nga problem? Naa ba? Is there a variable cost ratio? Naa. Okay, so that would be, pila man siya. This is 80%. So, times 80%. So, what would be our answer? Okay, correct. 86. Okay, so that's correct. So, this is our investment in AR. Okay? Pero if the question is what is the of investment, cost of investment in AR, ang sa may buhaton, kani siya i-multiply nato sa opportunity cost. And what is our opportunity cost? Kaning 15%. Again, pag ang question is what is the cost of the investment in AR, so i-multiply nato sa 15%. But since ang question ra kay investment in AR, so kuto brata dire. Okay, 32,876.61. Okay, understood? Okay. And then the next question is regarding inventories naman ni Sia. So we will answer that if we already discussed the inventory nga lesson. Okay, so again ha, pag ang pangutan na is investment in AR, so mao ni ang formula. Okay, pag given ang VC ratio, so you multiply with the VC ratio, variable cost ratio. But if the variable cost ratio is not given, so this would be the answer, kaning average AR, kanina siya. But since given man sa problem nga na 80% nga VC ratio, so i-multiply nato siya to get the answer. And then, we will use this 15% nga opportunity cost kung ang question kay cost of investment in AR. Pinaman niyahang gasto. So, may mawa sa iya ha. So, mani siya, i-multiply ni mo og 15% kung ang pangutana is cost of investment. Pero pag average investment lang, so kanira ato ang answer. Okay? Any questions so far? Or wala pa'y question kay gi-absorb pa? Okay, so that is for our examples for this problem. Okay, by the way, i-check sana ako ha. Okay. Mag-answer tag 1 problem sa katong na ay old og new policy. Itong old og new policy. Anito sa question 21. Kaning si Jazz, skip lang nato tong ubang problems kay para inventory man to siya. So kani ato ang i-compute. This is would be our last illustration. This is question 21. This is the change in policy man siya. Naka-discuss naman ta ani. Okay? So, here's the problem. Jazz is not satisfied with its credit policy. Ang proposal is to change the credit terms from 1/10 to 2/10. Unsa pasabot ng 1/10? You get 1% discount if you pay within. So, ang yang gibuhat, gihimo niyang 2%. 2% for 10 days. So, the firm's average collection period is 42, but it is expected to decline to 38 days. So, tungod ani yung iyahang change sa iyahang policy, ma-shorten iyahang average collection period. So, the percentage of credit customers who take the discount is expected to increase from 45 to 60% under the new policy. Then credit sales will remain at 400,000 and the contribution margin would be 25%. Bad debt losses are forecasted to decrease. So, mo decrease from 3% to 2.5% and the opportunity cost is 18%. Okay, so daghan kayo siyang mga factors, di ba, i-consider. So, I will solve this problem in two ways, katong na long form o na ay short nga form. Okay, so this is how I will solve this one. Naatay old o nya katong proposed. So, i-compare na to si old ug ang proposal. So, first is let us get the contribution margin. Di ba, mauman itong increase in sales katong sa problem nga gisolve nato katong sa may AR. So, contribution margin. So, in the old nato nga policy, it's 400,000 ang sales, di ba? Times ang contribution margin ratio is 25%. So, the total is 100,000. Sa iyang proposed, mausab ba iyang sales? Kato iyang bago nga plano nga nag-change siya sa credit policy. Mo increase ba ang sales? Mausab ba? Dili. So, therefore, maura gihapon ang contribution margin sa bago. Maura gihapon 100,000. So, wala may change. Next is we get the investment in AR. We get the cost of the investment in AR. It's hindi siya ma-delete. Cost cost of investment in AR. So, how do we get the cost of investment in AR? So, ngani, tong ato ang ang ato ang sales, i-multiply nato siya by the variable cost ratio, which is 75. Ano galing 75 na siya? Kaya ang contribution margin kay 25% man. Then, multiply. Multiply nato tong iyahang number of days atong collection period. Kaya itong collection period nato, ang collection period nato sa karaan kay 45 days. So, 45. And then, number of days in a year. So, we will use 365. So, ana. And then, we multiply by 18%. Ma'am, daghanon naman ang ka-adyo. Ato lang mubuon kay para, okay. Ato na lang malahion ang problem para di mo maglibog. Ay, problem ang solution para di mo maglibog. Unahon nato is, computon sa nato ang investment in AR. Okay. Di ba ang investment in AR is equivalent to average AR times variable cost ratio, di ba? So, sa man to pagkuha sa average AR, di ba? That's the credit sales times the number of days, AR days, AR days divided by the number of days. So, gamiton man nato kay 365. So, pila tong credit sales? Ang credit sales kay maura man gihapon 400,000 times pila tong sa old. Old niya kay 45 man times 45. Sakto ba? Ay, not 45 di ay. Asa to? 42 di ay. 42, sorry. 42 over 365. So, pila may answer? That's 400. Pila man siya? 400 times 42 divided by 365. So, that's pila man? 46,027.40. Oh, i-multiply man nato si VC ratio. So, times 75%. So, times 75%, that is 34,520.55. Sakto ba? Correct? Okay. So, how do we get the cost of investment in AR? So, that's the investment in AR times the, ano, di ba? Opportunity cost nga rate. So, therefore, kani siya 34,520.55 times 18%. Nya, mag-compute na po ta. This is the old man ni siya. Sa old, o niya, sa proposed. So, same nga process gihapon. 400,000 times, pila man ka days tong bag-o, 38 na. 38 over 365 niya, times 75%. So, 400 times 38 divided by 365. So, that's 41,643.84 times 75%. Napaba mo dira? Sinanglakaw na mo. You have 31,232.88. Ako na lang mag-solve para madali. Okay? 232. So, copy diri 31,232.88 times 0.18. So, kaning answer diri padong diri. Unya, kaning isa padong diri sa pikas. Nahiwi na kayo akong board. 32,520 times 18%, that's pila man ni siya. Okay, correct. And then, the second one is 5, 6. Okay, correct. So, di ba, pag cost na siya, that's a deduction. So, deduct na siya. Next is, taas-taas pa ni siya gamay. So, we have the discount availed. Diba, ingon sila na may discount nga ma-avail from 1% mahimo siyang 2%. And this is part of the cost. Kaya diba pag naay discount, makuhaan imo hanghalin. Diba? Kaya ma-minus man na siya sa imo makolek. So, how much is the discount before? 400,000 times 1%. Diba 1% tong karaan? Kani siya. 1% times. Pila man kabuok ang tig uh, obtain or grab sa discount before. 'Di ba? Ingon siya, percentage of credit customers who take the discount is expected to increase from 45. So, 45% ang sa una. Next, karon mahimo dong 60. So, karon sa bag-o nga policy, that's 400 times pila man tong rate karon, that's 2%. Times pila ka buka mo avail? 60. Okay, so compute. So that's 400 times 1% times 45%. That's 1,800. And then we have 400,000 times 60% times 2% is 4,800. Okay. Mo na ba na? Last one. Hiwi na kayo akong solution. Badets. Sa karaan, ingon siya, 3%, o niya sa bag-o mahimong 2.5. So asa man na magbase? So diri gihapon sa sales, 400,000 times 3%, o niya 400,000 times 2.5%. Okay, so pila man na siya? That's 12,000. And now that's the 10,000. Okay? So that's the last part. So pila man ang mahimo niyang difference? So 100,000 minus 6213.7 minus 1,800 minus 12,000, you will get 79,986.30. And then sa proposed, 100,000 minus 5,621.92 minus 4,800 minus 10,000, that is 79 79, it's 79,578.08. Okay. Based on that answer, unsa man, maayo bang i-change ang policy or dili? Nganong dili man siya maayo, kay ning gamay ng imuhang ning gamay ang income. Sakto ba siya pag deduct nako? Okay, so ni gamay ang income from 79,986.30 nahimong 79,578.08. So ang difference niya is ni gamay by 408.22. Okay? So therefore, ang sa may answer sa question, should Jazz adopt the change in policy? The answer is no. Why? Because there would be a decrease in net profits by 408.22. Okay? So, ang kato kong gingon nga shortcut is kwaon ra nimo ang difference nilang duha. For example kani, wala man sila kalahian, so that's 0. So, wala siya marginal nga profit. So, for example, ngani ha katong na shortcut. So, marginal, or actually dili man siya shortcut gyud, marginal profit is 0. Di ba wala man siya na dugang before and after. Kani siya is cost of marginal investment in AR. So from 6,213.70 nahimo siyang 5,621.92 ni gamay. So that's a positive. Positive na siya. Anong positive na siya? Ni gamay man. Kung ni taas pa na siya, that's negative. That's additional nga cost. So this is a decrease man siya. Decrease. And then you have the additional discount. Ang additional discount from 1,800 to 4,800 na ay 3,000. So this is additional, sorry, 300, 3,000 na. Okay, so since this is an additional discount, this is additional cost. So therefore, this is a deduction. And then you have bad debts. Your bad debts decreased. Nigamay, di ba? Nigamay siya from 12, nahimo siyang 10. So na ay decrease by 2,000. So therefore, this is positive kay decrease man. So therefore, na ay net effect nga 408.22. And again, mas dako man ang 3,000, so that's a decrease in net profit. Okay? So, taas-taas kayo siyang proseso. Pero this is very important, especially if you're making decisions kung maghatag ba kag promo or dili sa imuhang mga products, if you want to extend your credit period or dili sa imong mga customers, or moalaw ba kanila nga naa sila'y mas dako nga discount rate or dili. So, importante ni siya. So, you have to compare what would be the net profit sa imuhang karaan nga policy o ang net profit sa imuhang new nga policy para sakto imuhang decision making. Okay, so that would be our last example for this for today. So I would like you to answer problem 22. This would be your homework. Heidi Company. So this will be your homework, and I would like you to submit your answers via Google Classroom for question number 22. So you have to present your answers. You have to write down your answers para kamo mismo ang may tubag. So you have to answer what is the change a good idea. So I would like you to present your answer in this format na siya old ug na I proposed. Okay?